Hi, Donna Guest here, the Lazy Scrapbooker, and welcome to this month's edition of the Savvy Scrapbookers. That's when my friends Nicole, Debbie Martin, and I get together and we split up one paper pack and one sticker pack, and now we're going to create 6 pages for you. This month, we're using the small collection called Beach Scenes that comes with a paper pack and a sticker pack. For my 2 pages, we're going to build our own beach scene using the Beach Scenes collection. Let's get started. Here are the tools we'll need to complete this layout. We'll need your 12-inch trimmer, tape runner, and I always prefer repositionable in case you want to scooch things around. And then, very important for this one, if you have the Creative Memories 13 by 13 mat, you're going to have the ruler all the way around your paper. That's going to be super important to get everything just right because we're going to be building these pages. Then optional items include the photo trimmer so that you can trim your photos down. I find my beach photos have a lot of sky in them, and I don't always need all the sky. It's just a bit repetitive. So I'm trimming my photos down quite a bit. Exhibit A. And then another optional item, if you have it, the retired, sold out Creative Memories decorative trimmer. I'm going to be using the swell blade on this one. You can leave this straight if you do not have a decorative trimmer or a wavy trimmer of any kind. But I'm going to use this because I know a lot of you have this, and it's one of those tools that does not get used a lot. So if you've got it, if it's sitting on your shelf, we'll put it to use. Here are the paper and stickers that I got from the Beach Scenes collection. First, with the stickers, I got these 2 borders with the shells. That's important. Then I got a couple of titles, this palm tree, and then I got the shells, all the shells. Next, for these papers, I've got this assortment, all different papers. So we're going to be building this. So I looked at this and I said, okay, what looks like a beach to me? Well, this could work as sand. Then we have beautiful greenery here. And on the other side, we have beach umbrellas, a nice beach scene. Then we have obviously water. On the other side, we have more shells. But I think I'll probably stick with the water on this one. Then we have these gorgeous stripes that looks like a beach blanket to me. I'm going to use this side as photo mats. The other side is the sunshine. I'm going to use some of that as well because we have that in our beach scene. Let me show you the cuts that I used to create my beach scene layout. First, we're going to start at the top with our sunshine. However, I want to make sure that I cut this way. I want my stripes going vertical. You know, I would love to use these stripes a little bit more, but they are going to be put to use here for photo mats. It's such a great piece of paper. I just love these. We're just going to stick them in this way with the stripes going horizontally, and we're going to cut off 2.5 inches. And then we're going to repeat that, another 2.5 inches. My pages are going to be identical because it's a large 2-page beach scene. So we're cutting 1 for each side. Then we're going to hang on to this because this is going to be our photo mats. I'm actually, as I said, I trimmed some of my photos down to 3.25 inches tall. So if I cut this in half, and I'm going to do that, you may not want to do that just yet. It's 7 inches long right now, so I'm going to cut it right up the middle at 3.5 inches long. And this is going to allow me to mat my photos just like this. And so all that color just really pops, looks really good. There we go. I won't trim them lengthwise yet until I know how long my photos are. So we're just going to put these photo mats over to the side. Okay, now I'm going to skip down to the bottom of the scene. Let's pull out our next piece of paper. We are going to cut off 3 inches of this one. This has got the palm trees on the other side. I'm going to leave it kind of like this. If I was going to use this paper, I'd want the palm trees going this way. So we're going to cut off 3 inches for these cute little umbrellas, and then another 3 inches, and that's for the other side. So let's save this. Probably going to use that as photo mats. Okay, now it's going to get a little trickier. Now we're going to pull out this paper that we're going to use as our sand. The other side is really, really pretty. We're not using that in this layout. We're going to cut this in half at 6 inches. So let's set those aside. We're going to deal with them later. Now let's do our water. Okay, so we're going to cut off 4 inches. Oh, got to do it the right way because the water is going to go this way. See how the waves are going? Actually, this way. That's top and that's bottom. So let's put it in this way. I'm going to cut off 4 inches here and set this aside. And now we're going to cut this in half at 4 inches again. Now, if you do not have a wavy or decorative trimmer, you're done at this point with these cuts right here. But I'm going to pull out the decorative trimmer for those of you that have it. And I'm just going to use this swell edge. I'm going to turn it upside down here because I want the wave to go a certain way. So notice where the top of your paper is. This is clearly the top. See how the waves kind of, I guess, cascading over each other? So I'm going to put it in. The trimmer feels backwards. The short edge is over here. And just going to push it right across this swell line. This one's called the wave. This one's called the swell. And I sure do wish we still saw this. It's a great little tool. All right, so push it just past that. And we're going to trim it off. I like that. For this one, I just wanted my waves to go like that. The opposite would look like this. So it's a little bit different. Make one look a little bit different. And I think I'm going to do that. This will be the only part that's a little bit different. So this time I flip the trimmer around. I'm going to push it through this way, just past the cutting line. And so now I have a different look. Notice how those are completely different. One has 2 humps and one has 3 humps. The next part of this build is going to be a tear. Years ago, we used to have a tearing tool. Do you remember this guy right here? It is one of my favorite tools. I still use it every now and then, but if you look at my older albums, you've got tears on so many pages. I just loved how it looked, and it's still cool. I love this. So that's a cool way to do this, or you can just tear by hand. Now, I have had some people tell me before, I do not like torn paper on my page. So if that is you, that's cool. Just don't do the tearing part. Your beach is just going to be straight and orderly, but we know beaches aren't really like that. We're going to tear this, if you like torn paper, just to show a little sand. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to come across here. I could use my tearing tool that I showed you if I wanted to, but not everybody has that. But everybody can do this if you want the torn look. So I'm just kind of ripping it. I'm trying to kind of move it a little bit to give it a little bit of a curve. So I'm kind of guiding it, driving it with my hands. That is pretty neat and orderly. I actually like how that looks a lot. So let me do the other one now. So it's a very controlled tear. But you're going to see the white on the inside of this designer paper. I try not to show too much of the white because then it just looks a little bit messy. I just like a little bit of that edge. Okay, that's pretty cool. And it's going to go against that blue water. I love it. All right, now we're going to build our pages. If you are scrapbooking directly in your album or on cardstock, that is the easiest way, but I know we don't all do that. Even me, while I scrapbook on traditional album pages, you know, with the jeeping on the side, the staples, I don't know where these pages are going to go just yet, so I'm not ready to put them on pages. So I'm going to build this page and show you the easiest way to do that. All right, and then you'll just have 2 completed pages that you can put wherever. So first we're going to start with our little beach scene umbrellas down here. And you want to make sure you put them the right way. This seems to be upside down right here because of the flip-flops. I don't know. Personal preference, up to you. But notice how I am lining them up here on my 13 by 13 mat, right in the corner, so I can easily measure. Okay, the next layer we're going to add is we're going to go up to the top now. We're skipping the middle. We're going to go up to the top and put our sunshines there. And still using the 13 by 13 ruler to line everything up. Now, I want you to take your repositionable tape runner and just go across this edge here. Just gently go across the bottom edge of your sunshine. I may have to line these up again because I'm, of course, moving them a little bit. I was pretty generous with that tape runner. Whoa. I'm going to move it. Now I'm going to take one of my waves and I'm going to overlap it just a little here to where I cover up all the tape. And I'll take my other wave here and I'm just making sure I cover up the tape with this. Okay, now I can put them back in place. Now our last layer, and this is super easy, it's just the beach, and we've got lots of beach there. We've got plenty cut here. We've only got like 3.5 inches between, but this is about 5.5 overlapping. So you have 1 inch on each side, which is great because that's going to keep this all together. And we don't even have to use welding. Isn't that nice? I'm putting tape down just in a row on the bottom of this and on the top of this. It's just about 1/2 inch wide, but that's okay because we have about 1 inch clearance on this piece right here. So now I'm just going to kind of put this down 2 inches from the bottom Look at that. And let's do the other one over here. And again, make sure everything's set. Make sure I'm doing them just alike. Okay, I love it. And look, a perfect piece of paper. Here's what it looks like on the back. Wow, that's kind of cool. You can easily flip it over because we taped it so well. So between your repositionable tape runner and this 13 by 13 mat, we've created our own layered papers here. Love it. Now, as I often like to do, we just create a canvas so that you can put any number of photos on here, any size photos on here, and where you want to put them. Because I know we all have different amounts of photos, but I do want to add these shells right here. And I'm thinking they just make a great little border right here on top of these two papers where they meet. It's a nice transition. So I'm actually going to go ahead and add this sticker border here. Let me make sure I have it right side up. I think this is right here. Usually we add stickers last, but this one may get overlapped a little bit by some photos, just depending on how many we want to use. Again, yours may be different than mine. So now we've got our pages ready for photos. And then left over, we have these two pieces, and because I've cut my photos with my photo trimmer down a little bit to 3 1/4 inch tall, it's perfect to work with these strips that I cut. Okay, so we have a nice matted photo, and that looks good. It brings in some nice colors here to our page, or some nice patterns, because we don't have a lot of patterns. I used mostly tonal papers. And now I have these other pieces to use as photo mats if we like them. This one I need to be careful with because we have so much of that, but this green we didn't use at all, so that one will be really great. Let's see how much I can mat with these. And of course, it just depends on what photos you have. So I'll finish working on my mats here. I found another one I can trim down. I'm so far away when I took these photos that there's so much sky there. I'd rather keep the ocean than the sky. So I'm just going to trim from the sky just a little bit off down to 3 1/4. Totally up to you if you want to trim your photos like that. I'm really taking this opportunity to trim my photos, so I don't have really standard sizes to give you. You really want to do what's right for your pictures. Mine just happen to be really small, so I can trim them a lot. I can have a lot of room to crop. You may not have that room, but if you do run out of paper, the excess paper, you can of course use cardstock for this. And let me show you what the coordinating colors are. So here's some great options for your photo mats. We see dark sea green, beige, avocado, baby blue, and pumpkin. Okay, I have all 7 of my photos placed, not attached, but placed. I did put the larger ones that match on the inside and these on the outside. Then I think I'm going to tuck this longer one under, I think. So I'm just going to use my multi-tool to kind of release that a little bit, and we're going to slip this photo just in there slightly. Put that cool torn edge to work there. So now I'm going to attach these photos down. And of course you can put yours wherever you like. These are just suggestions. And then I'll add these fun little stickers and we'll be done. So I have these 2 titles. I may use all of these. I was going to put this one kind of hanging down here, but I think these colors look so much better down here with this color perhaps. So I may do that. I'm still undecided about the stickers, but I know I'm going to use these to put a couple of shell clusters in the corners. All done, and I love how this turned out so much. Oh, I forgot to journal. Okay, now it's finished. Since this will be part of other pages, I've just added some quick captions here and there using the Ivory Ride-On journal stickers. So I hope you have so much fun building your beach scene page. Next, check out Debbie and Nicole's videos. You'll find the links to their video in the description of this video. Thanks for watching the Savvy Scrapbookers. Be sure to hit like or subscribe to see all future videos.